my truth. It's partially because how I was raised. In the Black community, a lot of times children are there to be seen but not heard. You don't have a voice, you don't have an opinion. And if you thought one, well, let me go ahead and just beat it out of you because you're wrong. And that is the general behavior in the Black community. But even though doesn't mean that you have to continue accepting that feeling today, which is one of the reasons I've gone to therapy and gotten some treatment and began opening up and working through my past. But you have to know that you can get to another place and you can get to another side of reality that you love to even start that. And you start to get there listening to yourself and listening to your truth and fighting for your truth and fighting for yourself. And so I recommended her The Untethered Soul, for example, which kind of explains to you how when you don't address trauma, it eats away at you. It never disappears. It will never disappear. Just because it's in the closet, we all know this from our homes and our junk drawers. Just because you put something away does not make it disappear. It manifests itself in many ways. And until you're willing to work through those things, they will always be there and they will always affect you and hurt you. And so I started to tell her, it's not that it's so easy. It's not that from day 1 to day 2, you're going to be a completely different person, but it's something that you have to work on. And you have to decide that, you know what? I am worth living a great life. I am worth being happy. These things are not fables and fairy tales. These things are real. And the people who are willing to fight for them have them. And so we go through this conversation and she's just like, wow, I can't believe that from cupcakes we're arriving at this point. I mean, I wasn't prepared for that either, obviously being woken up. But that whole conversation just reminded me to come back on here and open up these conversations again, because it's not just about money and luxury and clothes and travel and all those kind of things. When people say you have to be true to what you want, a lot of times on social media or out there in TV land, when you say that, it comes down to vanity, like things that really don't matter. But when we say you have to be true to yourself and what you want, it also oftentimes comes down to things that people don't want to talk about. And that is safety. Because, for example, we might go with a partner that shows us a great life and shiny things. And we say, yeah, that's amazing. And then they do something that we don't agree with, but we say, oh, but they're so nice. And they gave me this and they gave me that. And, oh, it's okay, Or they might disrespect us and we say, oh, well, they didn't mean it. He's really nice and he's done this for me and he's done that for me, whatever. And it's a slippery slope because it's one small thing that eventually tumbleweeds into a big, giant thing like financial abuse, like domestic violence. And a lot of people end up in a golden cage by accepting things that are unacceptable. And it's their own doing because they refuse to be honest with themselves and fight for their own value, their own self-worth. So I just wanted to share that story because it is so critically, crucially important to be honest with yourself, because otherwise you just cannot live the life that you want to live. And since this is the only one that we're going to get, we owe it to ourselves to be honest. I think the other reason for me in particular that it's so important to be honest, because I realize as a parent that the things that I'm doing, the life that I'm living, is a direct example to my children. And if I'm not being honest with myself and I'm not living the life I want to live and I'm not going forward in the way that I should go, then I think, what am I teaching my children? I think that's perhaps even the bigger reason why I started this journey, because I thought, if I'm living this way in front of my children and I am justifying not being happy, then inevitably they will take that lesson and apply it to their own lives. And that would be, for me at least, more devastating than sacrificing a happy life for myself. And so that was a huge motivator for me. But also now that I've gone on this journey and I've begun to see the value in being honest with myself, and I've begun to feel the joy of being happy with my decisions and at peace with the fact that I know that I'm being honest with myself, that has taken me to a new level that doesn't obligate me to rely on material things to be happy, which I love. Now, I want to wrap this up by also saying, you know what? I'm not saying that material things are not good. because the honesty with yourself will bring all of the other bigger things, the material things that you want in probably a bigger way than you even think. And I think that you should have nice things. I think that you should have money. But the way you get it is very important. And if you can't be at peace with the way that you're getting it, for example, being in a relationship just for the money, even though you know that you're not respected or treated well, you can't be at peace with that. But if you've done the work to only be in situations that speak to your life and add value to your life, and then you are able to, by being true to yourself, get to the point where you have money and things, then you're going to be able to enjoy it much more than if you're not being honest with yourself and living a lie. So I hope that you got something from that conversation. I hope that you enjoyed me being open and honest and vulnerable with you. You know, it's not an easy thing to come on here and be open and share your life, but I think that it's something that is necessary. I feel, at least, it's my obligation to share my story, because when I was going through a really difficult time, feeling like I was maybe crazy and ungrateful, I didn't really have a lot of sources to go to. I did not have a lot of people sharing their stories. I did not know that what I was experiencing was so common. And if I had known that earlier, I wouldn't have been in it for so long, and I could have saved myself a lot of heartache. And so I hope to be a light to someone else who might be going through something. And I want to share a message of hope that this is not normal. You don't have to deal with anything that you don't want to deal with. You deserve exactly what you want, and don't stop until you get it. So I hope that you enjoyed that message. I'll be here with more later. But in the meantime, I'm going to wish you the best day ever. Bye.